guys and welcome. Today I'm going to be working with some scraps, just making some ephemera using the mini paper dolls, because I'm going to start a new junk journal that's featuring the paper dolls. So something a little bit more vintagey, but I just want to step you through just utilising your scraps and what you got. So my scrap bundle is starting to grow enormously. I've only got some here that I've got in an envelope, so I just want to pull a few out, just so I've got a little pile to work with. And before I start using that, I want to just prepare them a little bit. So I'll show you these ones that I've done. I've just used a decorative border punch. So this one is a EK Success binding punch, I think it's called. And then I've got another one that punches in like little dots and that, just to give you some little, more texture, points of interest. So I just go along and I punch the side of it. I also use pinking shears, which are like a scissor. I'll get mine down. And they've got like a jagged edge, you can see, and they're like a crimp. They give you quite a great decorative edge there too. I've got some old stamped out little notepads, so I'm going to be using those as well today. This one here, it's an old stamped image, and I got the border punch and did either side, and then used the crimp scissors. So what I do is I start with a little pile of scraps first, and then I just do a little bit of work to them. Now it may not be too much with some, it may be more with another, and I may just tear an edge. So at the moment there's no thinking, I'm just working with a little bit with the scraps and just doing a little bit of edging, I guess we'll call it. So you don't know how big you want, how little you want, so I'm just going to do a variety of different ones. I like to leave that straight edge there and have that ripped edge down there, and we might do a ripped edge up the top. So there's no rhyme or reason, I'm just going through and just doing a few that are different, and we may even recut or tear some of these. It's just like a starting point, I guess. Now I don't know whether you've used border punches before, but you line it up, the ones you've already punched out, and then you get a continuous line right across there. This is just something I like to do. That piece we might leave as is. That one, I think. So a lot of them I do tear, because you can fix up at a later. Some I'll, if it's in a strip like that, I'll actually leave it in a strip. Same with that one. So we've got a couple of those I'll put to the side. Then if we've got bigger pieces, see, I may turn that one into a tag. The same with this one's a bit bigger, so that one may form as a pocket. Or what I'll do, I'll punch, let's commit it to a pocket straight away, and I'll punch a notch in there. So this one is 1 3/4 circle punch. Let's pop him off to the side. Same with these ones, I might just do an edge on these. We may only end up using the edge. So you can see the pattern there. And then the other side we can tear and then cut down the middle, and you've got two pieces. So this will just help you get a little bit of, little different things into your journals. I love texture in my journals. I'll show you a couple of pieces similar to what we're doing today. So this one here, I've used that binding punch that side. That's a stamped image with an alphabet, and I've just torn, it's in cardstock, torn around it and inked it and then placed it on. So how simple is that? 2 pieces and a mini paper doll. This one here, I've got the stamped notebook image at the back, which I think is a Stampers Anonymous. I'll try and find the stamp for you guys, or link it below. Just some script paper in the background. I think that one is a like that one there, I think it's a Kaiser Craft paper, a stamped number, and then I've got some punched out paper just in the back there. If I turn that over, you'll see that sort of stuck under. There's only a little bit of colour and contrast coming through, and then I've got the gentleman sitting on top where I tucked this one under his legs. His legs are behind it. I didn't want it covering the number. And then this one here, I've used that stamped notepad again. I've got just some torn floral or leaf pattern cardstock, then plain, and then I've just punched the border top and bottom and stamped on that. So there's nothing too difficult in that one. It's just using your scraps better. This one here, I've got a little date stamp card at the back. I've thrown, it's an old, very faint, you might be able to see it if that focus is okay, very faintly stamped, and then I've done stenciling over the top of that with some book page, and then some texture down the bottom of the binding punch there. What else have I got here? Yes, this one. So I've got a ticket, which is a stamp out of that same set, and a mini paper doll, and then once again you can see that it just adds texture and a bit of point of interest. I've used the scissors to cut around the stamped wording there, and then I've inked it all. Okay, so let's continue on just building some things here, and then we'll make a few together. That one I might leave, actually I might cut it in half. We might make a ticket out of one and then use the other one to decide which one's going to be the better ticket. I think that one, because we can put something down the bottom. This one here is a template. So all I've done, I've had a square bit of card for the width of majority of these pieces of scrap, which is 2 inches across there, and I might be lucky if they're 4 inches. Some might be a bit under 4, but I folded it in half, and then I've cut the ears, so I'm going to get an even tag every time, and this one I've done a little bit wider across there and less ears, which I actually like that one. So I love working with these templates, because now all I've got to do is put that over the top of this card, and I've got an instant tag, which we will work with that one as well. And I'll just pick another couple. That one and that one. And we might put a couple of paper dolls on there as well. Lovely, you can see it's the same. All right, pop him off to the side. Actually, I'll just do, this was the one. Now this strip's not quite as wide as my template, but it doesn't matter, because if you line it up properly, you're still going to get that even one either side. So that instant tag there. That one I'll leave. This one I'm going to tear, and I'm going to leave a couple of straight sides on that one. And then this one too, I might do a long strip, tear a long strip on that to get to have some longer bits and height. This one I might punch see that adds a little bit of pattern. I'll punch this one too, and then let's put a couple together. So I'll just scoop these off to the side a bit. Clean the desk up for you. Okay, so you can do a lot of prep work like this in advance, and like I've got you know, some stamped images here as well, like that. There, I've just while I've had the stamps out, I've just grabbed a heap of scraps. As you can see, that one was cut. I must have cut something off that, and I've just gone in and stamped a heap, and I can cut that to size when I'm making my project. The same with these ones. You can see they're uneven, so I will, you know, either even them up. I might do a edge on it like that. I may cut them fairly close and then put it on something else. I've kept scraps of stamped cardstock because they will add texture as well. And then that's I've punched it out either side, so that will add texture. So you can see I like keep all these little, I call them prepped scraps. That one there too, which are pieces of something else. That's a stamped ticket which we will use. All right, so let's have a look at putting a little cluster together. Let's start with a stamped card. Just grabbing my ink. Might work with walnut stain today. So on this one, that's pretty well much a background, so we can either layer some more stuff on there, which we will do. I might keep a straight edge there, and see how it's not stamped there. So I'm going to tear along there, and then I'm going to ink it. Yeah, so these are great. Don't ever throw any, you know, roughly stamped images away. And sometimes we have a bit of cardstock on the side that we clean our stamps off on. Keep them. Go to... And when you've got a few pieces on hand like this, you know, it's trial and error. So I like him down flat there, but I like the texture all around there. Now I can either cut him off or fold him under like that, which I will cut it off because I don't want to add any bulk. So that's that one there, and then we can look at what paper dolls we want to add on there. I actually like the two boys on there. There's a little bit of width, and we've definitely got width to play with rather than length. So let's stick them down. I've sort of got a rule, guys, especially with junk journals, and you don't have to think too much about it. Don't procrastinate over something. Try a couple of things and then just lay it down. There's no rules. There's no right and wrong. It's just what looks good to you. If you sat here all day trying, you know, a million different things, then you're still not going to be happy with it at the other end. Now I don't ink the paper dolls because they've got like a shiny surface on them, and it doesn't stay on there anyway. So So I like a little bit of texture showing through the legs there. That's how I'm lining him up. And then pop him down. And then you can use a label or a word or something on there, but I actually like to leave some of them a little bit plain like that. Now that can then go on a pocket. So if we've got a pocket, for example, that we're going to put in our journal, we can put it on the pocket like that. It can go like that. It can actually be another pocket itself. It can go on the corner of a page like that and be a pocket, or it can go, you can glue either side, like one side on that, and it can be a tuck. You can slip something under it. So many uses for these. So they're what I sort of call undecided at this stage. Until you actually go to put your journal together, you can use that one in a lot of different ways. Okay, so let's do the next one. Let's grab one of these. Might go with the greeny colour notepads. And what's great about these, they add a little bit of extra journaling space as well. So we'll do some long strip type of textures on this one. Like I said, my next journal that I've just started is going to have a real vintage feel. So I'm featuring a lot of the paper dolls, which I haven't done before. I usually, do butterflies, florals, but I do actually really love the look of the paper dolls, and in particular the mini ones with the clusters that we're doing here. And then the bigger ones through with the pockets and the belly bands and the page tucks. And then we may just put some numbers on there. So you can see by having some pre-torn, even though we didn't know the sizes or anything, so don't think too much about the sizing, because if we needed a smaller one, we could always tear it down a bit. So we might park that one, because I like these ladies that are sitting. So let's have a look at so I like that. I'm going to do that as a square. And like she's really got her arm on the top of it, so they're sort of sitting off it a little bit. I'm going to keep that strip for the time being, so you can change things as you go along. So we need something relatively plainish. How about you could put some book page up there too, actually. We should try that. I don't mind that, so let's ink that. Work out which is the up way on that. Pop him down. If you were going smaller here, you could leave that as a pocket for itself and put a tag in there, but we're actually not doing that today. I like to tuck her in there, so you need to bear that in mind when you're gluing that down. And I will put some glue on them as well and glue them together. So we're tucking her in there and we're sitting I'm just making sure that's straight there because it is a straight edge. I want to keep it fairly uniform. And then down there, I think we might put a label of some sort on there. So I'm just going to grab a label. Might even do a red one. Maybe a number. Red, maybe. I seem to gravitate to green for some reason, but let's have a look. Yep, so we'll go the green. Let's pop him back in there. Put him off to the side and stick him down once I ink it. So it's good to add a little pop of colour. I know I've already done some blue for this album, so the green, you could have a word across there, you could put some lace across there, but that's that one done. Let's have a look at another one. Let's get some smaller pieces. So we'll go quite a small cluster with strips. So I had that piece I inked before. Let's get a strip of something. So I've got a container beside me with some of my strips or cut-offs that I've had. And I want to feature that out to the side and probably stagger that down a bit like that. And then because that's pattern and that's pattern, I can probably put something in behind that. Maybe that. Let's cut it down just a little bit. So see what I mean about don't cut it down to size or close to your stamped image until you're going to use it, because you know in this case we might have wanted it at the bigger size. Undecided whether I'm going to leave those edges straight, but let's have a look. Lovely. And then I think I'm going to have a label or something down there. So let's stick that on. So that one won't have a paper doll. Of course you can put one on there, but you don't have to have one on everything throughout the journal. And remembering that's tucking under that one, so So you see how I like layer it and have different heights and widths and excuse me, some plain, some patterned. I haven't really inked the back of that. I might take off that sharp corner and maybe that one and maybe that one. Just roughen it up a little bit. So it's got like a ticket effect to it. Now let's just grab a label on that one. I'm thinking probably a round label. So this one's a stamped image from Field Notes. It says Stampers Anonymous, Tim Holtz stamp. Use it a lot, and I've got a few stamped out in different colours. And this one here is from a digital download. So I think I might pop him off there. Don't know whether I like the brown. Let me see if I've got a different colour in that. The brown seems to be not standing out, and I actually want that one to stand out. And I want it a bit bigger than that red one, so I think that one there. Let's ink that one and pop that one on. And it's big enough too. You can put a number across there if you want to. So you could stamp a number across there. And that's that one. So with clusters like that, they can go on straight onto a corner tuck like that. They can go just on the page themselves like that and be a tuck in there. They can go on the front of a little notebook. They're just handy to have plain like that. Of course you could then, you know, put a paper doll on there if you wanted to, but we're not going to with that one. Alright, let's have some fun with this plain tag that we did. So I'll just ink it. Now I'll ink both sides of this one because we're going to see both sides. Stick him on there. I might use a bit of book page on this one. This is quite a good quality paper book page. So these plain strips out here, I actually keep them and I stamp on them. So you can add a little bit more texture using your stamps. So we're using a combination of book page and stamped image here. To me, it gives it a little bit of character and contrast. Now I am going to use a paper doll on this one. He's a bit small. Let me use a little bit bigger one. I like him. Just needs something else, I think. Might add some numbers. And then with the tag, I'd put an eyelet in there. I might just punch the hole in readiness. Crocodile. So I just put an eyelet in there. I'll do that later. And probably pop some sari silk or something at the top of that one. All right, what have we got over here? Let's pull some more out of here that we've sort of got pre-done. Okay, so this one's stamped. I've left the top of this one a bit longer, so we could either turn it into a tag or just put something over the top. You could round the corners. I'm just going to ink it and then we'll layer some things on it. So it gives you, it's a very pale blue cardstock. And I already know this is, even though that's not blue, it gives you like a bit of a blue tinge. So I think we'll use that one. I've got a girl here. We might use her, and she needs just a little something to offset her. What that is, we just have a bit of a play. No, she seems to be getting lost. Let's get a darker one and see if that's the difference. We'll go with plain, and we might ink it and see if she looks good on that, because I really want to use her. Maybe a bit of ribbon with her. I've got some Hessian here. Let's cut a bit of that. Let's get rid of that, add that, put that on there. I do like that. Okay, I like that. So she's actually coming off the card there. So I'm just going to squiggle some glue on there. That won't really, it'll just tack that gauze down, because we'll be layering this over the top. Some will make you think a little bit more. Sometimes when you're working with embellishments like these ones, they do dictate a little bit with, you know, your colorings and stuff that you use. So she's fairly light, so she's popping on a plain background, but I wanted texture as well. And what I might do, because I'm not liking that straight edge up there, I might give it a bit of a tear. Sometimes a straight edge can throw you off. Look at that, it's just made all the difference. And then I'm going to pop that one there and see how it brings your eye in. I'm not getting things real straight today. Okay, beautiful, love that. So you can see that pastel color in the background, and she's really popping in the foreground because we've got her on a blank background. So sometimes there is a little bit of trial and error, but it's good to have a desk full of stuff so you can just grab it and try it. Okay, what do we got over here? Let's add that. Let's do a word one. That. Okay, so let's work it on this ticketed background. Actually no, let's just do a fairly plain. So that edge is not quite straight, so I'm going to neaten that up like that. So I've cut fairly close to the wording, and I'm going to ink the edge. Now I already know I love this olive color, but I already know that it's too big for what I want, so I'm going to roughly put that there and eyeball it along. Doesn't have to be exact. At this stage I haven't decided whether I want to keep that straight edge or not, and then I'm thinking about putting it on this background. So now I'm going to just, I can take that away. Now I'm just going to make sure I'm going to have an even width right around And once again, I'm just eyeballing it. Some people like to measure. I think, you know, by eyeballing it, it's going to make your crafting more fun. You know, with junk journals, we don't want perfect edges, straight lines, exact measurements. Sometimes we have to, like we've put in a journal together and we want all the holes to line up and things like that. But otherwise, just have fun with it. If your line's a bit wonky, well, you just tell people it was meant to be like that. You can tell this is a scrap because it's still got this strip. I think this is a 49er Market cardstock, so it's quite thick. They're really good quality. There is an exact pattern on that, so I am going to neaten it up a little bit because it's throwing the eye out. Okay, so I'm going to glue that one down. Still throwing the eye out a little bit on this end. Just a slither makes all the difference. And then we put our word on there. You can corner around the corners if you want. I actually want this one kept straight. I'll show you a couple of others I've done with the words for this project as well, just to give you some ideas. So this one here is a stamped image on cream cardstock. I've corner rounded it and I've put it on the back of this beautiful brownie charcoaly colour. This is the postcard stamp that you've seen me use before. I've made it into like a little banner rather than having a straight edge or a crimped edge, just to give it a little bit of contrast. And I've just gone round the green in that. What else have I got? And then just some more. So these are great to have on hand. If you're putting a journal together, you can just grab for them. So that'll just give you a bit of an idea of what you can do with scraps as well. So for example, that scrap there we're going to keep because, you know, we might stick it on there, and then if we've got another tall, can't pick him up, another tall paper doll. He's not a tall paper doll, but you know, you could take that down a little bit and put him on there. So keep your scraps, guys. I'll pop that one off to the side. Let's just do another word. Actually, let's do a number. Let's do a number. I'm just playing around with some scraps here at the minute. Join them together with that on there and go like that maybe. So I'm going to cut fairly close to the stamped image again, just eyeballing. And with this one, I'm going to put it directly behind it, so it's not going to really be the feature, it's only going to be the border, because I then want to layer that underneath. So this stamp, what I worked out was it's not straight across. It is, so it's hard to line it up, but we'll make the best of, because that angle's down that way, so it's really hard to get it across. And I don't know whether it was how I put it on the stamp block that day or whether it's actually supposed to be like that, but I liked the character of it. I'm not necessarily liking the character of it at the moment because I'm putting it on a straight edge. Actually, maybe we should tear the edge. That might take that away. Yep, so you can see that it's taken that away a bit. I'm going to tear both ends and I'll ink it and we'll have a look. So I hope you're getting a bit out of this, guys. If anything, it's how to, you know, use your scraps or prepare some of your scraps to sit down and do some ephemera with it. I'll do some clusters at the end here too, because I like to have plain clusters on hand to then just add your focal points. Now I'm going to ink the edge of this one a little bit heavy because I want it to have a border of its own. So you can see that. All right, so let's stick those down. Something so simple, 2 bits of scraps and a stamped in image. You could do that with book page as well. That could be book page. If you don't have a number, you might have a word. You could use a sticker, a rub-on. I know a lot of people like the rub-ons. Lovely. So that, you know, that can even go up the side of a page just as a page decoration. It can go onto a belly band. It can go across a pocket. You know, if you had a pocket across there, it can go in a pocket. It can go down the bottom. You know, you could have something else out of that up the top. If you glued just there and along that line, just where it's not punched out and up there, it can basically be a little bit of a pocket like that across there as well. So handy to have. I love these little cluster type things to have in my stash when putting a journal together. So what we're going to do now is make a couple of little clusters. So I start with this scrap here. It's a stamped image and I've punched the sides out. Let me grab a bit of lace. This lace here is a piece of curtain that I purchased and I've just coffee dyed it. I got it in a clearance scrap bin. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on that because we'll put something over the top of it. What about a big label maybe? Just going to take the straight edge off these, but I don't want to waste too much of the print, so I'm trying to use my nails on the edge, which is a little bit difficult. I do have a tear ruler, but even getting an edge that fine is yeah, it's not easy. We might use this guy, I think. Tuck his foot under there. Yeah, I like that. So I was going to do a plain cluster, but then sometimes it creates itself. Take a bit to stick to that lace. What I might do is pop a little bit of fabric glue under him. Now this fabric glue, I absolutely love it. It's Helma fabric glue, and it glues everything. So I've got a little bit of him overlapping that, as you can see. Might pop a bit of fabric glue in behind there too, just to hold that piece down. And I just want to just want to define those edges just a little bit more. How's that? Okay, so we'll do a plainish one next. This one looks like because I've pre-inked it, looks like I was going to use it on something else. So with these ones, like I said, I like to have some plainer. I'm just going to move him down a bit. Plain ones without any focal point on them, just to keep in your stash. You'll be surprised how many times you will grab these. So to give you an example of that one, yes, we can put a paper doll on it. We might, when we're putting our journal together, decide to turn it that way and put a word across it, or a butterfly, or put it on a pocket, make it a pocket itself. So you can, you know, just glue along the edges and make it into a pocket. You could cut a little bit more out of there. There's a lot you can do, and I love to have a lot of these in my stash for that grab, you know, go-to type of thing. So we'll just make a couple more just with these couple of little punched pieces that we have. And then we'll just go through, we'll just do a recap on what we've made today. So that one there, I've torn the 3 edges and I'm leaving one straight. It's a very faintly stamped, looks like numbers. We might just do the 3 of them. So this one here, to get that that effect on the edge there, so what I've done is I've used the border punch and then I've used the pinking scissors right around, and it gives you that really ratty edge on it. You can see that. So that's what we call a cluster. So it's a cluster of things. You know, when you go to use it, you can then, you know, add some, say for example, some netting and then put a focal over the top, whether it be a flower, a leaf. You could use a die cut, anything, but I'm making some plain ones at the moment. Okay, so we've got another stamped image here. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to tear it down. So it'll be the base of a cluster. And then if we turn that around that way, then that will be another one. So we've got 2 starting bases there out of the one stamped image. So we're going to ink that. So that's just a bit of a script. Now if you don't have any script paper like that in your scraps, then you could stamp an image out. So it'll make a nice corner tuck or pocket one. And I just want to add something extra on that. Something fairly plain, but it's got a bit of a pattern to it. So you can see by faintly stamping stuff, you can add a lot of texture to that. Now, I think I might center it. Lovely, where's my pocket template? So you can see, you can throw that straight on a pocket. It can be a pocket there, and if you only glue it down 2 sides, it can be another pocket in there. Or you can glue it down completely and then, you know, put something else on top of it, whatever your focal point you want your focal point to be. So they're really handy, these types of things. Look, once you start making them, one, they're fun, And two, when you go to put your journal together, it's really quickly to throw all your decorative stuff into your journal using this method. Okay, let's work with a bit of blue. Actually, I like that on there. I might stick that on there. This one's a nice little journaling space if you like that, or you can put a sticker on it. You know, I may even add a later, I don't know where I glued right over there, but I may even at a later date put a paper doll on there when I go to put my journal together. Beautiful. Like I said, they're plain, and they're purposely plain because you could add like a leaf sticker, a flower sticker, a butterfly, a paper doll, anything you want on there, a die cut leaf. I work a lot with die cuts as well. Just beautiful. And then you could do, if you've got strips in your stash, let me find some smaller strips here. So say for example, so you know you've got these strips, you could use either side of that, green, or I think that's the right way there, and then you can just layer. Let's do it in half. Let's ink it. And these textured borders, so whether they're punched, ripped, if you've got any border punches. And I'm gonna take him up a bit. I might throw some olive green in there actually. Now he doesn't like that side, but he might like that side. So what am I doing, that? Or am I doing that? Might do that. So let's glue that one down first. Let me just quickly ink that. And then that's another one. So you can add a label, let's say for example, you can add a label on there, sticker, whatever. It's good to have some variety. Let's start with this strip. I like to tear the edges, but you can cut them. Find another strip. Oh, I got some mushrooms there. Now I already know I don't want to cover the mushrooms up, so we need something in there. This one I inked earlier. Let's go with that one. And we'll just have it as a strip. I'm going to make it shorter. I actually want my base at the back to be the height or the length of the cluster. And I'm going to tear my mushroom down a little bit. Now, if you didn't have pattern paper like this, then of course you can use a stamped image, a sticker, something plain. So make this edge a bit darker. And how's that, guys? All right, one more because I really want to use this label. Let's see what paper dolls I've got left on my desk. Over here. Sit. What have I got? This guy here. I like the sitting ones. Yes. All right, so let's move him over a bit so his leg's not covering. Let's find something for him to go on. So I decided I wanted something plain there, plain but patterned. So the dots will match the dots there, but I think I'll bring them down a bit. I'll bring them down to there because I like that date word. So let's glue that one on. I get carried away with my gluing a little bit because you should really, so I've gone glue over there, but it'll dry. Think about what surface you're gluing down. I just like glue everything, and sometimes it comes back to bite me. Now we might have him so he's sitting at the top of both. Actually, that looks good. So a bit of glue down the side there. And I think we can glue him on there like that. And across there like that. Just going to neaten up that edge at the bottom. There we go, guys. Absolutely love that. He looks like he's just sitting on top of everything there. But let's have a recap of what we've made today, just to re-go through some of the ideas. Now I am looking for the pin for my glue. Not, oh there it is, hiding behind that. I definitely don't want that to dry up on me. rid of the scraps. When I say get rid of, just put them to the side because we know we want to keep them and use them. And I'll continue on. I'm going to make some more tags out of that pile I had there before, this pile here, because I want to put the rest of those mini paper dolls that I've got out on my desk rather than put them away. All right, so let's recap what we've done. So we did some plain clusters, so we're going to have them plain because when we're putting our journals together, you know, depending on what we're working with, whether it's butterflies, leaves, flowers, what have you, paper dolls in my instance, to add the focal point to them at a later date. That one's got mushrooms, so it'll be a nice little page tuck of some sort. It's a leafy one. That one's got like a label on it, so you know, you could have a word or something down the bottom, even have a little paper doll up the side, which I will, you know, you can do so much to the plain ones. Then we've got, you know, your numbers or your word ones. They're very handy. Just sit down one day and make a big stash of them. And we've got that last one that we did. So we put the paper doll at the top who's in a sitting position. We've got our tag here where we layered book page, stamped image, and some decorative paper, which was like a bingo card. And I'll put an eyelet in that with some sari silk out the back. This one we had a stamped image at the back. We've used some scraps, strip scraps, and then we've torn to put a plain colour behind her to make her pop, and we used a label. So that one's a digital download. Look, it could be Tracy Fox's. I'm not 100%. This one here we layered with label and a paper doll, and we used an old stamped image that had with the border punch, and then we used our crimping scissors across the top. This one here we layered some script, and we had our postcard stamped image in our scraps, and then we've put a label down the bottom, but you can definitely add a number there, which I think I will do, or you could handwrite a date on there, because, or a percentage or a number. You could do so much with that one. This one here we've got the stamped image, and we've used another stamp, like a ticket, and we've torn it in half. Some decorative paper underneath, which the ladies look like they're sitting on, and we've added a label on that one. This one was a square one. We used a punch of some decorative paper, stamped image, a stamped image at the back, and our paper dolls. And these ones I had already done previously, like I said, using numbers, just some ripped paper or book page. Same with these guys. I actually stenciled some green on top of a very faint stamped image. So don't forget about your stencils, guys. This one here's stenciled in the back as well. You can just add so much to, if you've got a lot of plain cardstock scraps left over, definitely get your stencils out, you know, faintly stamp something or stencil it, and then you've got it to tear or cut an image, and you can use it as a contrast like that. This one here was layering of scrapbook paper, cardstock, and a stamped image, which I punched either end of. And this one here I've actually, it's a stamped image of that book page again, but I've stenciled over the top of it, so you can see it gives you just another effect again. But that's it, guys. Definitely grab your scraps out. There's so much you can do with scraps. There's so many videos on scraps. It's really good, but put your spin on it. For me, I like all these textures, just for something different. They don't cost you anything once you have them, obviously. I've had these for years, and I hadn't used them a great deal because I used to make a lot of cards, but even in my card making, I didn't utilize them as much as I should. But now I have them on my desk, and you know, I'll grab a pile of scraps like I was doing before, and just like that one there, punch out a strip and and put it in a pile, and then sit down and do these clusters like we've done today. But that's some ideas on how to use your scraps. Obviously I've got a theme going because I'm going to do my paper doll inspired junk journal, which when I'm finished, I'll give you guys a flip through at a later date. But thanks for spending time with me today, guys. I hope you got a lot out of today's video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.